Well, welcome to this, the final month of the current Cigar Professor pack. And yes, once again, I'm at the helm driving this beast for this evening. As you recall, this pack, we've done 6 cigars, 2 cigars every month. And hopefully we're finishing on a bit of a high note with a bit of a twist tonight. So tonight's cigars that we are doing are 2 Brazilian cigars. The first one that we're going to smoke tonight is this one in the green wrapper paper by Villager Cigars. And that is a line called their export line. And this one in their export line was listed as being a Brazilian Puro, but there is next to no information about this cigar anywhere around. So I can only go by what's advertised in the catalogue. And the second one we're doing tonight doesn't have a label. And the reason is that it actually comes in little paper pouches. The label was on the paper pouch. And it is the CAO Amazon Dagger. So most of you will have heard of the CAO Amazon Basin cigars. And they're a special cigar, which we'll talk about a bit later tonight. But this is the smaller brother of it. Now, you have to be grateful that you're not going to be with me solely all night doing a monologue, but I am concerned that our ratings are going to drop based upon the last couple of shows, for no other reason than all the way from the United States. He's back. We have Topher joining us tonight. Evening, Topher. How are you?
Hey, sorry, I'm just trying to. Sorry, I've only got 2 cigars here. How many did you say we have? We have 2 Brazilian. I don't even know how many that is. It's like 1,000,
2 Brazilian,
million, billion, trillion. How many is a Brazilian? I'm really sorry. You've thrown me. You've thrown me. I don't think that the pack is big enough to hold 2 Brazilian cigars. I think we have to rethink our packaging strategy there, Damo. You've got to warn me in advance if we're scaling up like this. Hi, can I just say it's really disappointing. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Let me just improve the shot here. Oh, that's better. Yeah, excellent. Okay, yeah, great. I'm just going to lean over here for no reason. My ego was really hoping that 2 months of my absence would destroy the show, that you just wouldn't be able to hold it together, that the wheels would fall off, that everyone would be able to see that really it was me the whole time. Sadly, and it pains me to say this, it seems like you've basically been able to carry on without me. That hurt. That really hurt. I don't know how I feel about this.
Look, it was a challenge, but I was.
Oh, don't lie. Don't lie. I can see straight through you. You're just trying to make me feel better.
Well, look, someone who would definitely make you feel better, that you have definitely missed for the last 2 months, and who has never missed a single show in his entire life, Professor Omar. How are you?
Very good, boys. Good to see you, Tove. You got something sitting right next to you.
Both of you just lying to me. Just lying to my face. Good to see me. No, you and I both know that's not true. Now, to him, I think you'll find that Omar has gotten grayer. And I think actually Damo's getting whiter. And I'm not talking about his race. That's not a racial comment.
I am definitely getting whiter in all manner of speaking. And before long, I'll be able to play Father Christmas.
Yeah. Or just like they, them Christmas, as the case may be.
You'll need an Omar beard, though.
The keen-eyed among you may have spotted the fact that I've developed a fairly severe hemorrhoid. I just can't get him off my ass. This hasn't happened to me since I used to live in Fitzroy. I used to get blokes just stuck on my ass all the time. But for those that don't know, this is Daniel, and he has come here on the promise, the guarantee. He swore on everything that he wasn't going to blow more smoke rings than me.
That sounds like a challenge.
See what's in the cigar.
I don't believe him. I think all 3 of you are lying to me tonight. Damo telling me that it was a challenge to run the show without me, Omar saying that it's nice to see me, and Daniel telling me that he's not going to blow more smoke. I think I'm being lied to from every single direction tonight.
Well, look, in
I'm
your
not lying,
own
I'm
words,
changing
it
my
is the
position.
cigar that dictates the rings, not the smoker.
It is. All right. So talk me through this, because I'm pretty sure that I used to be able to buy these down at the corner store. They're made out of chocolate, and they come out of like an extrusion, and they just get chop, 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 chop. Like this does not. Cigars are meant to have a bottom and a top. There's meant to be a difference between the ends.
Machine rolled cigar. I will not lie to you. It is a machine rolled cigar, but there is method to my madness in all of this. I've been trying to get this cigar pretty much since 2022 for the pack. That's the CAO Amazon. Now, it is an extremely limited run, and every time I've gone to buy it, they have sold out within 12 hours of it going on the market, right across America. I last year had them in my cart. I put the order through and paid for it, and then I got an email the next day saying, "Oh, sorry, there was a calculation error with our inventory. We don't have the stock. We've refunded you the money." This year, I won the jackpot and managed to secure enough cigars to put in the pack. So
I'm not trying to start nothing.
Yep.
But I started talking about this piece of chocolate, and you immediately pivoted the conversation to the other cigar, which leads me to the question, what's wrong with this one?
This one is a Brazilian cigar. It has Brazilian
There's that number again.
Yes, a Brazilian cigar. Even though it's one, it's a Brazilian.
All right.
What I wanted to do, which I love doing, is doing this whole comparison. Like, you know, when we have a cigar, it reminds us of this one. Oh, it's very much like that one. We like our Ecuadorian tobaccos. We like this. We like that. The trouble is, none of the cigars we've had to date have had Brazilian tobacco in it. And because the Brazilian tobacco in this cigar is so unique, I wanted to find another cigar on the market that had Brazilian tobacco in it as well, so that we would have a reference point for that cigar. And the only one that I could find was Villager make what they call an export cigar, which is a blend of tobaccos, but they released a limited run of this one, which supposedly is a Brazilian Puro, but I can find next to no information from the manufacturer's website. The information is largely missing from the catalogs and the wholesalers' websites on it, other than it is a Brazilian tobacco. I'm thinking that it's probably a Brazilian tobacco and other tobaccos in there as well, but at least we will still have a cigar with Brazilian tobacco in it, which we can then reference to the other one tonight. That's the theory. Whether it works... Getting serious for a second, the aroma, unlit, the aroma is really interesting to me, because I'm definitely getting freshness, a fresh cut hay, what I would normally associate with a Connecticut, but I'm also getting some pretty significant barnyard funk. Yep.
That sort of barnyard manure. I don't often come across that in the same cigar. Usually a cigar either has the fresh aromas or the funky aromas, not both.
Yep. It's definitely got a nice smell to it. It's a box pressed as well, which is quite interesting for a machine-made cigar. So not only has it been machine-made, they have then subsequently box pressed this cigar. So it's sort of, it's an unusual one. It's not just a straight out of a machine, straight in the box, but let's light it up and see where it takes us.
You don't understand how much self-control it takes for me to not just bite the end off and chew on this. I feel like I'm 12 and I got this from the corner store.
Now, as to which end to light, it's your choice, but I would say the end that looks the neatest, use that as the one in your mouth, and the end that's less neat, if there's such a thing, use that as the end that you light up. Wow. I got cinnamon and soft baked spice right off the first puff.
Yes, I've also got something a little bit darker. It's not a raisin. It doesn't have the sweetness, but it is something a little bit deeper.
On the retro, there's a little bit of coffee and dried fruit.
Yeah, the dried fruit, it's like it's in that family, but it's not, the sweetness isn't there.
Mm.
It's almost gosh. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me bounce this off you for just your honest feedback on this. Caramelized onion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see where that's coming from. That sort of savory, sweet.
Yeah. It's confusing. It's not sweet, but it is kind of sweet, and it's fruity, but it's not fruit.
It's almost like, you know, when you go to a fancy restaurant and they put those, you know, that caramelized onion jam stuff on your steak or on your burger or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like a caramel, an onion chutney almost. Yeah. Yeah, it's in that range. Now, guys, I know how closely you follow your celebrity news. Omar, you especially. You're all over it. Hollywood actors, you know, famous people, all that stuff. You're just in the gossip magazines relentlessly. It's probably your biggest vice.
Yes.
So this won't surprise either of you, but for our viewers, you might be surprised to learn that friend of the show, actually, he's you know, regularly on. He hasn't been on recently, but used to be on all the time, believe it or not. Chris Hemsworth has recently actually bought an ownership share in the Australian whiskey manufacturer Archie Rose. So I decided to buy this and have this with tonight's cigars, just in honor of him. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was heavily discounted. That didn't factor at all. The fact that it was, you know, a fraction of its normal retail price, it did not sway me. It was purely just in honor of Chris Hemsworth. So Chris, I know you're watching. I hope you appreciate the gesture. And we're going to have some Archie Rose Distilling Co. Australian malt whiskey with notes of vanilla and caramel. So there you go.
Very good. Actually, interesting side fact. One of my cancer treatment nurses used to sideline as a paramedic for events and functions and things like that. And she was the nurse paramedic for a movie that he was on, and she got to be in close proximity to him with his shirt off, and she thought that was quite good.
Yes.
So there we go.
It's
a small world, you know. There's those degrees of separation, you know. So,
well, I mean, good for her, but I will say, if that's your pinnacle, then you probably need to recalibrate a little bit, you know. Just saying. I mean, you could be on a show with Omar's beard. I mean, you could really aspire to something.
Hey, look,
you know what I'm saying?
I can go on better. I was on a movie with Kenny.
I
was an extra in a movie with Kenny.
Oh no, I get to touch Omar's beard every week.
All the time.
There you go.
Sometimes twice a week.
Is it true that if you look to your left fast enough, you'll see a leprechaun jumping out from behind a building when you touch Omar's beard?
It can happen.
Depends on what cigar's in his hand at the time.
That's not a leprechaun. Yeah. Well, Daniel insists on blowing smoke rings, so I'm just going to muscle my way closer and closer to the middle of my shot as time goes on.
You're going to pretend they're yours.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll just stick my head behind your smoke rings. What are you getting, Damo? I don't know what this is, but it's different.
It is definitely different to a lot of what we've had. It does have a nuance there of a cigar that I think we had.
Oh, it's a cigar. That's what it is. Yes,
right
I
back
get
in
it
the
now.
in the early days, but definitely cinnamon, baked spice, sort of a little bit of a ginger pepper note there that I'm getting occasionally.
Yeah. It's such a mix of savory fruits and vegetables. It's this really it's very different to anything I've had before. The ginger definitely, the pepper isn't there for me, but there's something that tingles the tongue, and I think it is more of a ginger. That sense that early on I wanted to say barbecue, but I was like, no, it's not barbecue. It's something. It's before barbecue, and that's where the caramelized onion, that kind of, it's been on the fry pan, but it hasn't been fried. It hasn't been crisped. It's been just beautifully slowly kind of roasted.
Kind of like that, the skin off like a roast lamb or something like that, outer sort of coat.
Something like that,
lamb,
yeah.
Bit of rosemary.
It could be an American barbecue. They're pretty sweet, literally.
Can be. My favorite food that I ate while I was in the US, Texas Twinkie. That was good. It's not a Twinkie like what you're thinking. It is a jalapeno, a large jalapeno pepper. No, it's not that kind of Twinkie either, Omar. Would you get your mind out of the gutter? It's a very large jalapeno pepper, which is wrapped in bacon, stuffed with brisket, which is their barbecue, and cream cheese. And it is magnificent. It is so good. I wanted to go back and have another one.
Is it deep fried?
Yes. Yeah.
I had something very similar when I was there, but it didn't have the brisket in it. I reckon that brisket would have made it. Mine was just cream cheese, jalapeno, bacon. The brisket, that definitely would have brought it together.
The brisket was magic, and honestly, 3 of them would be dinner. Like, it was so big, you'd be doing pretty well to get through 3 of them, I reckon.
Tell you what, it's got a beautiful retro halo on this cigar. Really soft, really gentle, really pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing it's a Brazilian cigar, because the Argentinian cigars, they don't have a retro Hal, they have a retro Hal Hitler.
This is true.
Yeah.
A little bit of sourness there when you lick your lips after it as well.
So I've just had a significant uptick in spice.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to say pepper.
Yep.
It's before I was like, it kind of wants to be pepper, but it's not. It's more in that ginger. It just transitioned into pepper.
Yep. You must have lit the same end as me.
Probably. Let's see how this Archie Rose goes with it. Oh, that's sickly sweet.
It is.
That might as well be a bourbon. That's so sweet. Oh, no. I regret my poor life choice. I regret my decision. Maybe that's why it was on special.
I was just about to say that.
Yuck. I'm not doing that again. It's so I was looking forward to like getting stuck into the whiskey. Like, Looks like we've lost our Facebook stream.
We have.
It's the Zuck. The Zuck is trying to deep six us. So what do you reckon, guys? Are we going to see a 75% reduction in tobacco excise in about a year and a half?
It would be nice. It would be really nice. Look, I honestly don't think double down and going harder on what they're currently doing is actually going to achieve anything, because it's clearly not.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another firebombing just yesterday or something in Melbourne.
Yep. No, they can't keep going the way they are. That's obviously a pathway to failure. The question is, can they admit that they were wrong? And I don't think the Labor Party can. The Liberal Party have come out and copied the One Nation policy, but I don't know that I would actually trust them to implement it. I think they would choke on it when push came to shove.
Yeah, we'll do 80, but we'll pretend that we weren't involved in the constant increases before.
Yeah.
Well, to give the only good thing I can say about Morrison when he got in was Morrison actually froze the excise from going up.
It's true.
So the excise froze for the whole time he was Prime Minister.
I mean, to be fair, lots of things got frozen when he was Prime Minister.
This is true.
Including the borders. But yeah, okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Credit where it's due.
But it's an interesting thought. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't think anyone can trust the Liberal Party these days. I mean,
No.
Especially in New South Wales at the moment, the Liberal Party is banging the drum, the same as what One Nation is about the buyback legislation that's gone through. And they're saying how atrocious it is and how it's victimizing the innocent and all this sort of stuff. But they were the ones that sided with Labor and voted it through in the first place.
Yep. The dishonesty. So that just obliterates my taste buds when I have a sip of that whiskey. That just absolutely obliterates my... I'm not going to taste anything but that horrible thing for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Well, I've figured out how to get myself to not drain every bottle of whiskey within sight. Make this one of the bottles.
In saying that, I wouldn't go bad with the Connecticut.
Omar, how are you finding the cigar?
Sickening.
The whole onion thing, like, the red onion more than the white onion, the red onions that kind of makes sense, but it's kind of almost blended in with cedary type of output, woody cedary output, not so much on the like too much spice. I don't think it's ginger. Ginger have very distinctive flavor to it. It's maybe some kind of allspice, but the cedar, I think, is what makes it slightly different than the whole onion thing. It is the barbecue thing, but not so much the flavor of the barbecue, but the actual wood or hardwood that is burned through, and you smell that. That's what I'm getting, I think.
Well, the spice has definitely really gone up a notch for me. Like on the draw, it's almost reminding me of just a small amount of cayenne on the draw for me at the moment.
Really?
That's before.
Yeah, that pop of pepper that I had, which actually I had it before I ashed it. So it wasn't because I'd ashed it, but that pop of pepper really died away very quickly. It's like almost I hit a piece of stem or a pocket of oil or something that just kind of brought out this hit of pepper, and then it's really faded away very quickly.
It's definitely got quite a bite on my one tonight. It's
yeah,
almost bringing a tear to my eye. It's got that much bite to it. It's
really.
Oh, yes.
That is not my experience.
It's like eating a hot spicy dish almost for me.
Omar,
that's something interesting. David came up and said, "Just lost Rumble too."
Goodness.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Omar,
yes.
Have you replaced Damo with a girl? Because this is not like bitey at all.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, I agree.
That facial hair hides the. That's why he's looking whiter. He's like a Scandinavian girl, just wearing a beard,
It's not
pretending to be a professor.
Yeah. There's
Rumble's saying it's got a low latency issue, whatever that means.
Oh,
Well, low latency is usually a good thing.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess you can, after we finish this stick and go to the next one, you could perhaps try to restart and see if that can.
No, because that would require us to restart this one as well.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, we'd have to start all over again. New link, new everything.
Ah, yes.
Well, I've still got the green tick on the Rumble anyway. So
Yeah. See how it goes. So
Yeah.
I'm just a bit annoyed that Truth Social doesn't have a live streaming interface for us to do this with.
Yeah. Foot smoke, fellas. What are we thinking?
It's mulchy
different.
damp type of smell.
Mm.
Mulchy
There is a bit of a barnyard note.
It's actually quite complex.
Yeah. It's very smoky.
Earthy, it's woody, it's sweet, it's barnyard, it's straw.
For such a small stick, the ring gauge being so petite, this is considerably more complex. And especially for a machine rolled, my prejudice kicks in. I kind of go, machine rolled's probably not going to be the most interesting tobacco. But actually, this has got a lot going on.
Well, see, Villager Cigars, the manufacturer of this, don't just do machine-rolled cigars like a lot of the machine-rolled companies. They do long filler, hand-rolled, premium cigars as well. So this is sort of like this is just like a budget, mass-produced, cheap daily smoke line that they do solely for the price point. And I would also say that trying to roll a cigar this size and have a good, consistent draw and quality on it would actually be quite difficult. The bigger cigars are more forgiving for rolling. And so they probably just looked at it from a financial perspective and realized they could, produce a decent little 5-pack of cigars at a set price point and the quantity that they want to by doing it this way.
Can I commit sacrilege?
You can.
This is making me wonder what a machine rolled Lancero would be like.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, speaking of Lanceros,
almost
the
be
next
convinced.
pack.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Hello.
the next pack.
You got my attention now.
Shall I start the
Please
unveiling of
do. You gotta hang on. We need the raunchy music.
Yeah.
We need the raunchy music.
All right. So the first cigar, since we mentioned it already, it is the AJ Fernandez Curly Head Lonsdale in a Claro wrapper. I think it's called a Claro. So it's sort of between a Candela and a Connecticut. It's not as green as a Candela, and it's sort of that in between stage. So that is going to be one of the cigars in the next pack.
What's the ring gauge on that? That still looks pretty chunky.
It is. Actually, I've got the details in my phone.
I almost wouldn't call it a Lonsdale. It's almost got too much body for that.
The ring gauge on this is a 6.6 by 43. So normally a Lonsdale would be a 40. Gosh. But this is a 43.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, okay, fair enough. All right. They can call it what they want.
So there we go. So that's going to be a really enjoyable smoke.
I mean, it's a double Corona is what it is.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah. Still good. Lots of tobacco, lots of cigar.
And reason being, we've only ever done one Candela in the past, and this is sort of not quite a Candela. Also, I noticed that looking back over the last few packs, I've gone on some of the bolder, more flavoursome, darker wrapper cigars. And so I thought this next pack, I'll swing the pendulum back the other way and goes for something light so that it's appealing for, the people that prefer the lighter end of the spectrum.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. So that's number one. Well teased, Professor. Well teased.
I'll drag it out. You're gonna have to watch the whole show.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah. We've got a cigar and a half yet to go, buddy.
That's right. That's
So-
right. I can't rush these things.
I am a little bit concerned that this might end up being my last episode because you guys are going to revoke my professor privileges. And
I'm your dealer. Why would I do that?
well, because I spent 63 days in America, the land of the low tax cigar, where you can buy them almost everywhere and smoke them almost everywhere, including inside buildings a lot of the time, which is really cool, can I say?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think I did the math. I think in 63 days, I smoked a total of 10 cigars.
Wow. That is so gay.
I'm led to believe that's a compliment these days, Omar.
Yeah, each to their own,
I
right?
think I smoked more here while you were gone.
Probably. I was
When I was
busy.
over in the States last year, I smoked, I believe, a total. I didn't get an exact account, but it was somewhere between 56 and 63, somewhere in that, around the 50 to 60 cigars in 17
in like
days.
2 days. Yeah.
17 days. I was gently.
Yeah, I
Omar knows
I
that in
didn't
a
do
day,
that.
but-
My excuse, and I'm sticking to it, is that I actually was the hardest problem for me. So I went on, I lost track of how many flights. The hardest problem for me was that I was constantly bumping up against my weight limit for my luggage.
What kind of a
at every
stupid
conference-
excuse is that? You can fucking buy a cigar from anywhere there. You continue
Sure.
to come up with dumb shit. Seriously.
So I'd have to go to the cigar shop and get the cigars and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so
You
didn't have
and
it. Just don't go with it. It's hurting us.
I couldn't. If I could have just had my little hard case, my travel case with me, which I did originally pack, and then I went, no, I'm over my weight limit, so I left it in Australia. I could have gone to a cigar shop and bought a dozen cigars and carried them with me, and then I would have smoked a lot more. But as it was, each time I wanted a cigar, I had to go and find the shop rather than just reach for a cigar, and that definitely slowed me down a lot.
This is so fucking painful. You made a mistake. Just own up to it. Say, I would never fucking do it again. End of fucking story.
And miss out on you having a hissy fit, Omar? Come on.
If that's a hissy fit, what I've just heard, it was like a sissy fit. Fuck. That's tough. You just clearly.
Actually, Omar, do you want to make? I'll tell you what was even worse than that. Multiple times, I said, I will order cigars from the wholesalers and have them shipped to wherever you are.
Don't.
I did.
No.
I was
offered-
moving around too much. I was barely ever 2 nights in the same place.
and he couldn't get through a single box in 2 nights.
2 nights. God damn it! Seriously, that is.
I will tell you this though, there were some pretty nice hotels that were smoke free, but if you smoked in the room, it was like a $65 extra cleaning fee. And I'm like, that just
I
sounds
would
like
never
fee for
leave the
service
room.
at that point. Like, I mean,
That's
I mean-
cheaper than smoking in the rental car.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I'm pretty sure for the $65, what you're going to do is open the window.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that that's the extent of the extra cleaning that you're going to do. I don't know, maybe swap out the doona or something. But
Actually,
I
I have
did-
seen what they do initially is they've got the hotels over there. They've actually got this ozone generating machine that generates actually almost lethal levels of ozone. They
Yeah,
put
right.
it in the room, they turn it on, shut the door, put a sign on. It's on a timer, and they've got to leave it for so many hours before we can go back in. And
Yeah,
then
right.
that gets rid of the smell. If that doesn't get rid of the smell, then they'll bring in the steam cleaners and steam clean the carpet.
right.
But for that price, mate,
Like,
Omar would have paid
honestly,
it every
I felt
single
like they
night.
were offering it to me. I felt like it's like you've got the mini bar, the drinks, the snacks, and the cigar cleaning fee. Like it's just another offering.
Yep. It's like the corkage fee on BYO.
Yeah. Seemed like a great deal to me.
Hey, that's still cheaper than a cigar in Australia.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I wouldn't even think twice about it.
You're not wrong.
I know. Something interesting. Every year I've gone back to the States. It's perpetual increase in the cigar price, regardless where you are in the world. And for us, it's fundamentally different because of the tax, but nonetheless, it's increasing everywhere.
Well, this is one of the interesting things because essentially cigars are cheap because they have historically come out of countries where labor is very cheap.
Yes.
And they are a relatively labor intensive product.
Very.
Now, the reality is that, our reference point is the last 100 years where the West has been phenomenally wealthy compared to the rest of the world. Now the rest of the world is catching up, and just the laws of nature, how this works, it's easier to catch up than it is to continue to improve when you're already the wealthiest. So they're catching up very quickly thanks to technology. Look at wages in China, look at wages in India, parts of India, etc. It's not cheap like it used to be. And Central and South America is going the same way. It's still a lot cheaper, but it's not cheap like it used to be. Yeah. And we can't begrudge that. That's these people, their quality of life is improving, their life expectancy is improving, their kids' education is improving, like everything's getting better as a result. But as a result, the handmade cigars are going to get more expensive relative to our Western income.
And ours is going backwards.
Well, ours is
Actually,
going backwards too,
You know what would be interesting? You remember you did that episode where you looked at the cost of housing over time in terms of ounces of gold?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. Well, probably not gold, but it may be silver. It'd be interesting. I'm sure Mr. Stu could do that one for us, looking at the analysis of the cost of cigars in terms of ounces of silver over time.
Interesting. I mean, you'd get in the US, you'd get probably 3 decent cigars for an ounce of silver right now.
Yeah.
Which I reckon that's pretty expensive in silver compared to what it would have been historically. I think it would have been a lot more cigars for your silver 10 years ago.
Definitely. I tell you what, that pepper note that I was marking on before just disappeared suddenly, very suddenly.
Yeah.
Just was there.
Yeah.
I was pushing through it, and then suddenly it's gone.
Yeah.
So
I reckon you've maybe had a much bigger section of that thing that I had for literally only one puff. You might have had a more substantial bit of whatever, stem, oil, something, whatever it was that gave that flavor.
it was about 6 puffs that I had it in, but nonetheless, it definitely gave the cigar a transition, without a doubt.
Boys, I'm struggling with that. Got bits and pieces come in the mouth, and because it's softer and getting a bit dirty.
How are you with the nub already?
I'm not too far off a nub. I'm getting there. Not there yet, but
I'm entering my final third. Am I Wow, I'm winning the slow smoking competition today.
Hey,
because you had practiced.
Tough.
So
You
few
haven't won
cigars.
much, so be like, wow.
That's what happens when you don't smoke enough cigars in America.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. I'm out of practice.
Interesting what Topher just mentioned about cost of living in the third world or all those countries. And that's the same very question. I was a bunch of mates, we were smoking cigars, and I said, the 90s, the average wholesale price of a cigar was $2. And then it creeped up to $3 to $4. And now in the US, a decent cigar is minimum, I think, $14 to $20. That's
retail, yeah.
Yeah, retail, sorry. Retail.
Yeah.
About $20 for an average cigar. And I was saying to a bunch of mates, I'm like, it's not a good prayer to do, but I've been praying that the quality of life in Central America doesn't go up, because it's not gonna be long before this whole shit will collapse. And I know it's a sad thing to say, but
you're not going to like me. You're not going to like me for saying this,
yeah.
but this is one of the reasons why I'm interested in this as a machine rolled cigar. All right, because technology is improving. The way that the machine rolled cigar used to be, the machine would just go through the same process every single time, and for as long as the feedstock was exactly what it was supposed to be, the product would be fine. The minute there was a variance in the feedstock, then the product would be crap because it wasn't rolling it correctly. It wasn't adjusting. Whereas a hand rolled, an experienced hand roller would notice and then would compensate, would do something about it. But machines are getting smarter, and I have to wonder whether the increased quality of life in Central and South America is going to lead to perhaps more investment into more sophisticated machines. In the same way that a tractor used to be a very basic thing. Now they're phenomenally complicated that can factor in all kinds of factors and adjust exactly what they're doing and know exactly where they plant each seed, blah, blah, blah. What if it was the same thing for a machine rolled cigar where it actually observed the stock that it was bringing in to roll into this cigar, and it adjusted and accommodated that and essentially could do what a hand roller could do? We could potentially enter a world where cigars are cheaper again.
Maybe we should talk to Elon and ask if some of his robots could be trained to roll cigars.
Well, have you seen the Chinese Robot Olympics?
Yes.
Oh, I saw some of that the other day, yeah.
So it's like world record, explosion.
Yep.
Ran into the wrong direction, world record. It's like either they work or they really don't work.
I saw one the other day, ran straight into like the locker thing at the end of the track. It just kept going, and
bang.
It sort of went off the track and smashed into this locker.
Yeah, there was one that was trying to run around a corner. It was running super fast, and then it kind of fell. And however it fell, it must have broken something. And all of a sudden, sparks are coming out of its groin, and it's it's dying a slow and horrible and painful death.
Where's Bender when you need him?
Oh, I tell you.
Mind you, I was having deja vu of Cyberdyne Technologies and the Terminator movies when I was watching it, though.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was briefly in the Army Reserve Infantry, and I was quite happy to be so, but there is nothing that I would want to be less than an infantryman in today's battlefield. With drones and robots on the horizon and all that stuff, like hell no.
Look, I'm almost at the end of this cigar, and it's definitely picked up a sort of a woody, almost pecan nut-like flavor to it for me.
And some bitterness. It had some bitterness too in the end.
Can I say that the foot smoke is still delicious?
Yeah.
It's so rich. There is just so much depth to it.
You just wouldn't expect that sort of transition, that sort of journey in a cigar that's been basically punched out of a machine.
This is a petite hand-rolled cigar with some relatively unknown tobacco, and I'm loving it.
I don't recall it being like this last time I had one.
All right.
Hey, Damo, are these from the same batches you brought down when we had them at my place?
Yes, they would have been.
Okay, so what's
I've
more
only
age
had
on
one
it?
batch of them.
Yeah. Because I think the first time we smoked them, I don't think it had this kind of journey in it.
No, and they've had time to age amongst the cigars. You know me, I like to cross-pollinate my cigars, and so, they've definitely been sitting there with all the few other cigars that are designated for future packs. Stuff's been coming into that storage with other cigars for future packs getting added to it, and so there's been some cross-pollination there, so it's definitely improved at whatever's taken place there.
All right. I'm starting to get the bits coming out of it like what you had, Omar. I'm starting to get every second puff, there'll be something left on my tongue. Some little fragment.
Yeah. All right, well, before we light up the next cigar, let me tell you what the second cigar in the pack is.
Ooh, take it off. Reveal what the second cigar is.
So we did the Cohiba Red Dot, This is the Cohiba Dominican Puro. So it is a basically Dominican filler, binder, and wrapper. It's the American Cohiba brand. And I'm actually quite looking forward to it because we really did enjoy the Cohiba cigar that we had in that last pack.
Yeah.
And this being a Dominican Puro, we've had some good experiences with Dominican tobacco. So it would be really, really good to see how that one plays out in the next pack. So that
looks like another good sized cigar too.
It is. It is a Robusto size. I'm pretty... Actually, yeah, it is. It's a 5x50.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So.
Nice stick.
Well, shall we get into the CAO Amazon Dagger?
Well, us sophisticated smokers down here in Melbourne are still going on this one, but I guess if you insist.
I didn't know Aubrey was Melbourne.
Aubrey, sorry. Old habits die hard.
This one's got a cap on it, so it will need to be cut. I'm just going to give it a straight cut, so it's a straight comparison. Pardon the pun. No, I meant
as opposed to a trans comparison?
That's right.
Fair enough.
Ooh. Cold Draw's got a nice bit of fruitiness to it.
Yeah, like a dry fruit.
Mm.
I'm going to let my taste buds settle a little bit after that first cigar. Pretend like I'm more sophisticated than all of you.
So
have some whiskey.
Got an issue with the hemorrhoids, or you were just being funny?
But this one, yeah.
No, but are you okay?
Mate, I haven't been okay in 20 years.
That's good.
Ooh.
Talk to us,
Quite
Damo.
smooth, nice dark dried fruit notes in there.
Yeah, that's what I had, the dried fruit note. Just even on the wrapper.
The retro on this one's a little bit more spicy.
Sounds like a blowtorch.
That's great. I have not charged this since I got it.
Oh, wow.
It's still I mean, I guess it only needs that little bit. So I charged it when I got it, but I haven't actually had to recharge it since.
Omar has to recharge his one every day.
Oh, wow. This is a big difference right there. Wow. That's a refined cigar. That's someone done a very good job on this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Wow.
Very mellow.
But it's very refined. I mean, obviously, whosoever rolled it and tobacco quality, the fermentation, it's amazing. This is really good.
So it uses the same blend as the 2024 release of the Amazon Basin cigar.
Yep.
And the interesting one with this one is that, like the other one, it uses a Brazilian tobacco, and I'm going to absolutely butcher this name. I think it's pronounced Braganca, a varietal of tobacco that is grown in the Amazon rainforest. What they do is they harvest that tobacco, they roll it into a tube called a carotte, and it's fermented under high pressure and transported out of the rainforest by canoe. They then send it to their factory in Esteli,
Mm-hmm.
in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
And the blend in this particular cigar, if I can find the manufacturer's page here, the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, which Omar will love, Nicaraguan binder, and the filler is a blend of this Brazilian tobacco, Colombian, and Dominican tobacco. Now, originally, this cigar was exclusively released for the European market, but then they ended up changing and releasing it in America as well.
Dems, can I say this is a very Cuban-esque cigar?
I actually agree.
Yeah,
That is a term that is thrown around far too lightly, but in this case, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's giving me vibes of the what was it, Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a cross between Romeo, RJ, and which one? Topher, you like the
Bolivar?
Potagus? No, he likes the Potagus.
Potagus.
It's very
Yeah,
close to the Potagus and RJ. Yeah.
So fermented under pressure, Damo, that grabs my attention.
Yeah, they don't go into too much detail about it, but in things that I've learned and read over time, one of the ways that they do ferment tobacco is you actually get the leaves and you basically twist them up into like long sticks. And then I think what they do is they pack them tightly together and roll them together in bundles and let it ferment like that.
So it's the pressure of sort of the weight of the other leaves on top. It's not,
and I'd say
it's not pressure like a barometric chamber kind of pressure.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, right.
So normally when they ferment tobacco for normal cigars, the pilones, they basically just stack to maybe about waist height, and then they unstack it. They flap the leaves around to get enough air in there to get the fermentation happening and restack it again. Yeah. So the leaves pack together with the weight, but they're not deliberately compressed to do the fermentation.
That's I didn't think, frankly speaking, I didn't think it would be that good. It is very good, very refined, and whosoever like blended it, they're just perfect. It's everything about it is perfect. It's so good. I wish it was bigger, but apart from that, it's beautiful.
That's what she said.
Well, the bigger version of this, they don't actually put a traditional cigar band on it. What they do is they get some tobacco leaf and they plait it into like a little plaited rope, and they actually then wrap the rope around it and twist it. So you end up with this looks like a little plaited string rope around the cigar, which you can actually just smoke straight through.
Yeah, that's cool.
I made a mistake of taking it out, but next time I had the opportunity, I'm gonna try that. This is a very good cigar. I must admit, it is much more flavorful than the bigger version of that. Wow.
It's interesting. I look forward to having this one in isolation at some point in the future. I'll have to get some off you, Damo. Just to come into this one with a clean palate. Because I think the flavors in this are a bit milder than the one we just had. And I've got completely the wrong whiskey to go with it. So I think, unfortunately, I'm not getting the best out of it, but it is beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. That's why
tang to it.
Yeah. Cuban tang.
Now, this in a Lancero.
Yeah.
Then we'd be talking.
Well, the other size that they produce this in, the standard size, the Amazon Basin, is a 6x52, which is basically a Toro.
Yeah.
But in 2024, they did release a limited run on a size called Rothschild, which was a 4.5x52. But it's an extremely limited run, once a year. And sometimes it's not even released every year, given the growing conditions. Doesn't always produce the quality of tobacco to make the cigar. So there has been some years where it has been missed.
Yeah. So, Stu, tell us in the comments what's happened with your car. Is it terminal? Because if there's one place I wouldn't want to be stuck forever, it's Tim's house.
Yeah.
No offense, Tim, but be offended.
At least they won't run out of meat.
Yeah.
True. The good supplies, I'll grant that. It's just the company is just horrible, you know. I love you, Tim. You know that.
It's good.
Had a fleeting moment there of a different flavor note, but I'm not sure what it was.
It's a kind of a resin, some form of resin, and I'm trying to pick it. Even the taste in your mouth is very resin-like.
What's that resin that the Greeks use in the spice for cooking? Is it mastic?
Yeah. Nah, is it mastic? But it's a resin.
I can't remember. I know there's a little there's a spice that the Greeks use in their cuisine that's like these little amber nodules.
Yeah.
So let's all play bush mechanic with Stu's car. The exhaust gas recirculation cooler has failed and is overheating, boiling. That's one of those things that cars don't actually need. Like, it's done for like fuel efficiency and emissions and all that kind of like save the planet crap. Can't you just unplug it? Like, genuine question. Like, I know on older cars, early cars with EGRs, you could just literally pull the pipe out and let it vent.
A lot of these modern cars now have got ruddy sensors everywhere, and if everything's not performing to the specifications that they deem necessary, it shuts down.
The damn nanny state. That's this. Okay, so I've been ashing my cigars. This is a bad habit that I picked up in America. I just did it instinctively just then. I just tapped the ash off.
Well, I only did it with the first one because I was worried it was going to drop all over me.
Oh, you were going to do a topher?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see, normally I do a topher, but I don't know. Somehow in America, I was like, oh. Yeah, EGR delete. I think it's called find the hose and pull really hard.
I had some dramas with my car this week. My rocker cover gasket was leaking. It wasn't bad. It was just starting to get to the point where you knew at some point soon it was going to be a problem.
Right.
And I'm one of these people, stitch in time saves 9. So I got the mechanic to replace it for me with a service. Brand new Toyota, genuine part. Put it in the Hilux, got it home, came out the next morning, and there's a big puddle of oil under my car.
Ugh.
It turns out that the brand new gasket to fix the soon-to-be leak was actually faulty, and I had a leaking. The fix actually made the problem worse.
Charming.
So
Crazy.
had to take it back to the mechanic the next day, and he had to go back to Toyota and get another one and put it in. So,
Well, thankfully, I mean, rocker cover's not terribly hard. Obviously, heads is harder, and the deeper into the engine you go, the more expensive that oil leak becomes.
yeah, well, I've got about 4,000 to 6,000 k's of driving coming up in the next. Actually, yeah, about 6,000 k's of driving in the next 4 weeks. So, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get a leak when I was 1,000 k's plus away from home. So,
can I just say I really appreciate you doing your bit to stave off global cooling. Thank you for your service.
Look, I'm waiting for all these volcanoes to start putting heaps of ash into the upper atmosphere and cooling the planet for us.
Yeah.
When one or two goes
worry.
off, I start getting excited.
We don't need the volcanoes to do it. That's Bill Gates is going to do that for us. He's just going to rockets and nothing. What could possibly go wrong?
Did you hear the story?
He'll just go before Congress and plead the fifth 100 and something or other times.
111 times,
yeah.
Now, did you hear that story about like the recent heat wave in England and how they've cleaned up the air so much that it's actually getting hotter?
Yeah.
It's like, turns out that
the smog was helping. Yeah.
Now they're all going, it's too hot.
The particulates were reflecting the sun. Sounds like a Monty Python sketch, but it's actually real.
That's pretty much everything these days, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Life is a Monty Python sketch.
Oh, yes, Minister.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Yeah, The Hollow Men. The Hollow Men was not supposed to be a documentary.
1984 wasn't supposed to be a
instruction manual. Yeah.
Or Animal Farm.
Or Fahrenheit 451.
That was a good book. I like that.
I need to reread it. It's been too long.
I've never read the full 1984. I read snippets from it, but
I've got one lying around.
Sharon's dad just gave us his copy.
Oh, yeah, nice. So I bought the one that was republished by Rebel. They had some cool artwork in it. I was like, I'll buy that. So I reread it. It's good. Depressing book, just like real life.
Sharon's currently reading a series on the Nazi regime. It's a historical fiction, so they take the historical account and then they add fictional characters into it.
Sure.
And she's like reading, she's going, and she's seeing all. She's like, "What do I do with all this now?" Like,
yeah,
because she's seeing
the current day.
Yeah, she's seeing. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I've been saying.
Yep, history doesn't rhyme, but it raps.
Got a little bit of spice starting to pick up in this now that I'm going into the second third.
Second third already?
Mm.
Yep, Stu makes a good comment. At least you can put the book down.
Yeah.
Hey, the government can put you down, so, it's kind of the same. I've begun an investigative series into the Victorian Firearms Licensing Division, the LRD in Victoria Police. I released the first one earlier today, an interview with former Police Commissioner Kel Glare. And the stories I've got coming up are quite probably the most dangerous stories that I've ever done in terms of exposing me to the risk of genuine blowback. Because if I'm right, and I don't have evidence for a court of law, so to speak, but what I have is a pattern of behavior that's quite consistent across multiple different examples. I've formed the opinion, and this is just my opinion, that the Victorian LRD are actively shutting down gun dealers for the purpose of getting their guns to be in limbo, for the purpose of handing them over to friendly gun dealers who are on side, for the purpose of supplying guns to the criminal underworld for a fee.
Wow.
And I've got one story coming out which is quite explicit. The chain of events is very, very clear. Now, events don't prove intent. So the argument could be made that maybe they are just phenomenally incompetent. But if that's true, then they're being phenomenally incompetent over and over again. And the guns that they are seizing off gun dealers when they shut them down just keep ending up in the hands of criminals somehow.
Well, I know of a gun dealer in Victoria who was trying to tender for a government contract.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that contract was to supply suppressors for government weaponry, be it for culling, or whatever it is, but that was just part of the contract. It was basically a supply and maintenance contract for government departments. And in order to get that, he had to have, as a dealer, he had to get a special permit to be able to have silencers. Now, he has his unrestricted license down there, so he can have machine guns and all the things that normal shooters are not allowed to have, just not silencers. So he put in the paperwork and applied for it. And it came back to him that they wouldn't issue him the permit unless he could prove he had the work for it, but he couldn't get the work for it to tender on unless he had the permit.
Yeah.
And that same dealer, so they can issue a license for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. And when he first got his license, he applied for a 5-year license. They only issued him a 3-year license. Now, the cost is the same whether you get it for 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years. He got it for a 3-year license on the basis that they said, you're new to the thing, we don't give a 5-year license out. And then his second renewal, he applied for it again. They only gave him a 3-year license and said, oh, look, you've got to get 5 years under your belt before you can get a 5-year license. You've only had 3 years, so you do another 3-year license, then you'll be eligible. His license came up again, and he applied for the 5-year license, and yet again, have only given him a 3-year license, but this time they won't explain why.
Yeah, wow. So one of the stories that I've got coming up, this chap was properly licensed, complied with all the things. He was bringing in sidearms for law enforcement, security industry, and military use only. So they didn't meet the criteria for civilian use. And he had one particular sidearm in stock, of which he's had confirmed by the manufacturer, only 3 were ever legally imported into Australia, of this particular law enforcement only type of sidearm. And he had an array of sidearms for this purpose, but this one is the one that's of interest. He was then shut down spuriously, and then the LRD had to restore his license, so they had to admit that they actually shouldn't have shut him down. But while he was shut down, all of those weapons were put into the hands of another gun dealer of LRD's choosing. And I have, he's not willing to go on the record yet, but I'm working on it, a former employee of that gun dealer who is willing to tell me things off the record about what went on when he was there. And somehow we have a photograph, I'm not going to name names, of a now deceased known violent crime boss in Australia. A photograph has emerged of him posing with one of these exact sidearms, of which there are only 3 legally in Australia. Now, who knows what may have come across the border through other means, we don't know. But of the 3 legally in Australia, 2 are accounted for One is not. And it's the one that was taken off him by Victoria Police when they temporarily revoked his license, went into the hands of this dealer who then went on to sell every single one of those firearms. And when he has tried to follow up with the police to try and have a please explain where are my guns, they have threatened to prosecute him with making a false police report. So I'm not a genius, but when you start to put the pieces together, it kind of looks a bit sus.
Mm.
Having spent a lot of time in that other side of the world, I've seen a lot of first firearm I had was from a police, someone within the police force that was, that's why I was quite interested in the video that I watched today, your video today, when he was talking about 60,000 guns they can't account for.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I can account for some of them.
Well, whatever, there's 180 odd sidearms that were found to be missing when the Victoria Police did an audit a while ago now. That's sort of old news, but these are the people that will haul you through, over the coals for having a single round of ammunition not locked up when they come to inspect. But there's literally hundreds of their own police issue firearms that they can't account for, and this is their own police issue ones, let alone the other ones that have gone through their custody.
Well, one of my late gun dealers, I generally tend to gravitate towards the elderly gunsmiths because they've got so many years of experience under their belt, and usually the problems that I encounter that I need the services of gunsmith for often those intermittent, really nagging tiny things that, for me, wanting to get perfection that the normal younger dealers, it's working, it's fine.
Erectile dysfunction, you can just call it what
That's
it is.
right.
Stu,
That's
not
right.
Stu,
They
sorry, Freudian
understand it
slip.
being elderly.
Damo.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, he's long gone now, but he was actually a repair agent for the New South Wales Police Force when he was alive and in business. Yeah. And he told me that the very first shipment of Glocks that the New South Wales Police Force got, they had the shipping container come in with, there was 200 Glocks plus multiple pallets of ammunition in a shipping container. The police went down to Port Botany to pick it up, and the container was gone.
Yep.
So,
yep. So the second easiest way to get an illegal gun in Australia is to know somebody who works for Border Force. The easiest way to get an illegal gun in Australia, as best as I can tell, is to know somebody who works at LRD.
It's very sad. Very sad indeed.
And they'll often be guns that are confiscated off other people.
Yep. These are the people that get to tell everybody else which guns they can have and revoke their permission at any time for basically any reason.
Well, I know a guy, a friend of mine, under the current buyback, because of the reclassifications, will be forced to surrender 4 guns that he estimates over the course of a few years have cost him between $60,000 and $80,000.
Yeah, wow.
He'll be lucky to get $30,000 to $40,000 back for those guns.
So
that's if they agree to it.
I don't know if you've seen the video that I did. I did an interview. I've done a few. I've got another one coming out tomorrow. Tell everyone you know in New South Wales to not do anything until after the state election.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's what the Shooting Council and the SSAA, I think, have advised everybody, is to wait till after March and to work our butts off until then to get the current government out of power.
Correct.
Did you see the video of Chris Minns the other day when he was asked in front of, I think it was this Senate hearing, saying, "Oh, how do you think this is going to get the guns?" And he said, "This isn't about illegal guns. This is about lawful guns.
Yep.
He literally said the quiet part out loud.
Well, he justifies it on the basis that the Bondi shooters were lawful. One of them was a lawful gun owner, and so that's a perfect scenario for them where they get to demonize the lawful gun owners.
The big problem there is how was he lawful considering
that's right.
Was it him or his son were on an ASIO watch list? Like,
yep. Yeah, I hear you, but nevertheless, that's, never let the truth get in the way of a good political opportunity. What's really encouraging for me at the moment, I've been in this game commentating on politics for 17 years, and David, I'm not sure if you're still watching David Leinholm, but he's been around for longer and paying attention to politics, and did some fantastic work when he was a senator. And I've never seen a reaction that has been from the public and even parts of the media that has been defending gun owners. I've never seen it before. And I think it was helped by the situation with Keith Blessing. He was the guy in regional New South Wales who used a gun to protect himself and his wife. So Di Blessing is his wife's name, and Keith is his name. And for those that may not know the story, a guy kicked his way through their door with a knife, stabbed them both, wounded Keith very badly. He ended up in intensive care for a few days. And then they forced him out of the home and kind of re-barricaded the door somehow. And the guy came back some 15, 20 minutes later. So Keith had already been on the phone to 000, reported that he was wounded, reported what had happened. Police were on their way, but they were a half hour away, and this guy's kicking his way back in. And that's when Keith was too wounded. So I believe, if I've got the details correct, I believe it was Di who went and got the gun out of the safe and brought it to Keith, and Keith loaded it. And then when this guy got his way back into the house, Keith shot him. Stu, this is correct. The greatest support from non-gun owners than ever before. We're into territory that I've never seen in Australia before, and it's really good. And he shot him. And my understanding is the assailant survived, unfortunately. But the premier actually had to come. Yeah, so David's saying, I agree, Topher. It's almost as if the pendulum is starting to swing back. I certainly hope so. The public is so cynical now. Yeah. And I think this is a continuing part of the silver linings out of COVID. I think COVID made a lot of people very cynical, and with good reason. So, then we saw the Premier of New South Wales and the police chief, or the police, I don't know if it was the police chief, but senior police, and the media come out calling Keith a hero for using a gun to stop a guy from murdering him and his wife. Presumably the guy had come back to finish the job. He'd gotten kicked out of the house and then gone, hang on, I've left witnesses alive. Like, presumably he's coming back to literally make sure they're both dead. And, it's absurd that under Australia's laws, you have to have such a specific sequence of events in order for it to be deemed a legitimate defensive gun use. But those events happened in his case. And the media response and the Premier's response and everyone's response is really, really telling. So I think that's helped. I think we're in uncharted territory. I'm more optimistic now than I've been in a very, very long time about the future of Australia.
I think also with everything that's gone on with Fauci in America of recent has really woken up everybody to the load of crap that went down over the COVID years. And how the Australian government was not doing all the due diligence that we thought that, well, we didn't think they were, but people assumed that they were doing.
Yeah, that they should have been doing.
Blindly following effectively criminals in another country.
So what's really interesting, the detail that no one's picked up yet, and I'm preparing to do a video on, but this is a deep research project, so this is probably a couple of weeks away. Fauci got a pardon, but a lot of the people around and underneath Fauci did not. And people are focusing on Fauci and Rand Paul, who I met when I was in the UK. I ran across him a couple of times and we exchanged details, and hopefully I'll have him on a podcast at some point in the future. I think he's one of the good guys in the world. But he's focused on Fauci, and rightly so. I think he needs to be. But I think the rest of us need to be actually turning our attention onto a lot of the other people around Fauci. Some of them are under a lot of pressure. One of them reportedly, supposedly, is going to be pleading guilty soon. They've been dragged into some proceedings, and they're going to be pleading guilty to some specific things as part of a plea deal to avoid certain other things. And it all gets messy and technical.
Marines?
And yeah, well, he's one of them. So it's a big research project because I've got to get all the details right. I can't get anything wrong in a story like that. Even the smallest detail has to be correct. So at best, that this video is a couple of weeks away, but it's interesting because those people never got a presidential pardon, and they're actually the weak link.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. So I read something from a lawyer over in the States that said Fauci's pardon is federal, but states could prosecute him in the states. So individual states could.
That would end up as a high court decision. I don't believe that's ever been tested at law. When a presidential pardon is issued, does it cover federal law because the president is only the head of the federal government, or does it cover the crimes themselves, in which case it applies to every layer of law? That I've read the same thing. I don't believe that that's a decision that has been ruled on by the Supreme Court of the US. So that would probably end up as a Supreme Court decision before it even gets to anything. It's like,
So
can the states even bring charges?
That were looking to come together and bring charges.
Yeah,
at a state level.
So that won't be fast. Let me put it that way. That will be 2 years before a decision is even made as to whether the states can bring charges.
Well, I mean, if you plead the fifth to the color of your own tie, then
I just think, Fauci could have been saved the trouble of pleading the fifth if only he'd had a quick phone call with Daniel Andrews and understood the power of saying, I don't recall.
Yeah.
Like he could have just, just done that. Stu's bringing us back to the task at hand. How are we going with the cigar, guys?
Mr. Stu.
There's still a nice little sweetness in there that I've been enjoying. Not as transitional as the previous cigar. I'm finding it very consistent, but still ridiculously enjoyable. There's still a bit of a pepper note in there that picked up in that second third, and it's still there, but I think it might be dying down now that I'm into the final third. How about you?
Could I make a... Sorry, you go.
Yeah, Topher, go.
No, you haven't spoken much. You never speak much. You go.
I think it's absurd and almost sad to put these two cigars in the same category and same sentence. It's not right to compare them in any possible way. Transition not always mean a good thing. Transition could mean whatever that it means. But this cigar is the quality and the construction and the flavors and everything is far more superior and refined and unbelievable. It's the different level steak.
Sorry.
It's almost impossible to talk while smoking this cigar. It is that good.
Well, I'm going to make a different observation. Omar, you never talk, so I'm not sure that you're the best person to to comment on which cigars make you talk and which ones don't. That's why I always tease you, Omar. Shut up, is because you never talk. The observation I want to make is more of a meta observation. The previous cigar, we spent our time talking about the cigar. Since we lit this cigar, we've spent our time talking.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting difference to me. Because for me, a cigar is about creating a moment. And particularly a cigar with friends, with people, or even with strangers, it's about the moment that cigar facilitates. And the conversation's a big part of that. And I would say it's actually a testament to this cigar that we have found ourselves talking about all kinds of other things in this cigar when we didn't in that first one.
I think that's very environmental thing, depending on the discussion, who's around or who's not around, and whether you want to partake in a specific conversation or not. This multifaceted thing. But nonetheless, I think the important part is this is a very, very good cigar. And
Very good.
people who are watching it, they should ring Damo and text Damo and say, I need all of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be getting some. Stu must be
Stu is
behind the
asking
times.
for the
We've,
phone.
we've
done
already
the
had the
second
second
cigar.
cigar. Stu, wake up. Catch up, buddy.
Heard. This. I
looks
managed to
huge.
get.
That's huge.
4 boxes out of only 500 that were released to the American market.
Wow.
So the cigar professor has nearly 1% of the global supply. No, of
Wow.
the US supply anyway.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? I can't tell.
It is the Ernest Perez Carrillo Encore Noir number 2 limited edition.
Wow. That's a lot of words. What does it mean?
This is so we know we did the EP Carrillo
We
that
did
won
the
Cigar
Pledge
of the Year.
prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Pledge prequel.
Then as a tribute to that, they brought out the Encore. This is the Encore Noir number 2. It is a 6 1/8 by 50. And basically, when I bought it, I was literally just looking at the website when they got put on. I added them to my cart and checked out as quick as I possibly could to ensure that we got them. And then a few hours later, I thought I might see if I can add a few more boxes. They were gone.
Wow.
They
Can I just
sold
make-
out instantly.
Can I make a
Right.
comment? 6 1/8 inches.
Yes.
Why the 1/8? It's literally there so that they can say mine's bigger. It's
That's right.
literally that's the only purpose for that extra 1/8 of an inch.
That's right. So that will be the final cigar of the pack. Now, the reason I'm making it the
Wow.
final cigar of the pack is I literally only got these yesterday, but they have already been aged before they were released. So that extra couple of months will just help them to
Yeah.
acclimatize before we smoke it. But they're ready to
Sounds
go.
good. Wow. Amazing. That looks like a fantastic pack. And those are 3 decent sized cigars. I'm impressed that you've managed to make that work within the budget.
So
Those are
there we
3
go.
big cigars.
So we've got the AJ Fernandez Lonsdale.
Hmm.
We've got the Cohiba Dominican Puro and the EP Perez Carrillo Encore Noir number 2.
Wow.
So that is the next pack.
Yeah, Stu, that's true when you're only counting in fractions of an inch. When you start to have whole inches, you wouldn't understand. But when you start to be adding on to whole inches, then the fractions are less important.
Trust me, when it comes to tax dollars on these damn things, every fraction
Oh,
of an
yeah.
inch counts a lot.
Yeah, it does. That's true.
It does.
And the boxes that those ones come in are absolutely beautiful. They're a satin, almost like a satin piano finish.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So
So imagine potentially only in, let's say, 2 years' time, and Australia, where tobacco excise has been cut by at least 75%. I'm going to work on Pauline and Barnaby and David and the others, and I'm going to see if they can go, if I can get them to go even further. But let's say 75%, and fuel excise has been reduced permanently, and we've got a serious effort to wind back a lot of the net zero green tape nonsense. You know, I can see a good future ahead for us. Not perfect. They're not libertarians. They're not, you know, as liberal Democrats as they used to be called. Would be much better, and their time will come.
Yeah.
I trust. You know, there's issues there, and I'm
It's a
going to
good
work
step
on them.
in the right direction.
But boy, wouldn't it be an improvement?
look, what you need to do is invite Javier Milei to come out and workshop with them.
Oh, mate.
Show them how to actually get the books balanced. Just come in
Mate.
and, like, you know, get the whiteboard up with all the government departments, and then just
Afuera.
pull it off and say, "Gone, gone,
Bring his chainsaw.
gone."
Yeah. Give him a chainsaw for the bureaucracy.
So here's the thing. So I know Senator Roberts reasonably well. You know, we spent 3 days cooped up in a plane together in 2019. We've had a lot to do with each other since, and we talk on a pretty regular basis. He has libertarian instincts, and he is fiercely loyal to Pauline. And so those libertarian instincts do tend to get buried a little bit because Pauline has strongly nationalist instincts. And she's not as economically literate as he is. She's run a small business. She understands a lot more than most politicians do. But at that macro level, that's not really her game. That's not her area. And so the game now is to try and put the right people into the right places within that party so that whether they form government or whether they are guaranteeing supply to the government, that we can pull them as strongly as possible towards the libertarian end of that spectrum. And we won't get them as far as I want them to get. That's not on the table. But I think we can get them to be much more libertarian than their public brand would suggest.
Yes, well, if we can cut government spending by 70%, that would be a very good place to start.
So another video that I'm working on is, and this one, I don't know when this will be released. It'll be before the next federal election, but it could still be a year away. The video title is simply How to Fix Australia. And it starts with radical deregulation. That is the engine that allows everything else to happen. If you start by cutting taxes, then you're running deficits. If you start by cutting spending, you've got outrage. You have to start by cutting regulation and red tape, allow the private sector to expand and become profitable and become the engine. From there, your options for cutting taxes and for cutting services and spending become much easier after that. But you've got to lead the way with radical regulation cuts.
Well, they've already flagged cutting like regulations around houses, building of houses and stuff.
Yeah. So they're very good in certain areas, and their instincts are pretty poor in others. They want to, if it's a national security issue, then the government should spend money on farmers and on defense industry and on manufacturing and blah blah. It's like no. Let's just remove the reason why we're not competitive. Let's just get rid of all the stuff that's made us uncompetitive in the first place, and all of these problems fix themselves. And I'm working on them. I'm getting wins. I've got their ear. They listen to me. We have conversations, and I've been texting with Pauline last week, and she'll reply back usually within an hour or two, and we'll go backwards and forwards multiple times in one day. The relationship is there, and now I've just got to try and use that relationship to try and just have them revert to the libertarian end of their spectrum rather than the nationalist end of their spectrum. And if I can accomplish that, then I'll be a very happy man.
So do you know of Willarrawang Power Station in New South Wales out past Lithgow?
I know the name, remind me.
It got shut down a few years ago. They demolished a large percentage of it. It's still probably about 30% there.
It was coal, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anyway, the government has been advertising on social media for the last few weeks for public feedback on their idea of basically demolishing the rest of the site and turning it into a housing estate.
Yeah, right. So all the infrastructure, all the backbone that allowed that power to get out to the grid, lost.
Yep. Look, the coal loaders are there. The coal mines are still there. The coal mines are still functional. The grid's out there. But rather than actually putting something there that could actually, regardless of what flavor it is, rather than using something that doesn't need any infrastructure to be put in order to distribute power, they're looking at turning it into a bloomin' housing estate. That's the New South Wales state government.
Can I say, though, the level of scorched earth that has been adopted by the Green lobby, I think is telling. They don't want to just shut down these power plants. They feel the need to demolish them. They feel the need to demolish them and build big batteries on top of them. Like they know that they have to destroy the infrastructure, because for as long as it's still there physically, and that bringing it back online is a relatively, it would take 1 year and tens of millions, not 10 years and hundreds of millions. For as long as it still sits there, it's a threat to their business model. And I think that unknowingly, that is something of an admission on their part. Now, they've been successful in a lot of cases that, we have destroyed the power plants, but not all of them. And there's a few other low-hanging fruit that that with a change of federal government could be picked relatively easily. I'm struggling to get its name, but there is a New South Wales coal-fired power plant where they set aside land for 4 major turbines, and they only built 2 of them. And the land is sitting there for the other 2. And the backbone is pretty much in place. They'd probably have to run an additional, 500 kilovolt power line out of it to get the power out, etc. So it's not as though it's all there, but the bulk of it is there already. And as the wheels are falling off the whole net zero thing. Even the AMO, the CSIRO Gen Cost report have now had to actually finally, after lying for a decade and a half, they've now actually admitted in the most recent Gen Cost report that coal is the cheapest. That took a lot of work, and Aidan Morrison deserves a huge amount of credit for pushing them into that admission. I think we've broken the back of this, and we've got a lot of work ahead of us. But I actually think, again, I'm actually really optimistic. I am more optimistic now than I have been at any point since I became a political commentator back in 2009. I actually think we can do this. What is this? We can bring sanity back. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a thing the other day. The government was promising companies like the net zero or the wind turbine companies and stuff, they would underwrite the curtailed power or something.
Mhm.
And then they backflipped on that and said, oh, no, you're going to have to cover that themselves. And a couple of them said, well, we're not building. And then that government turned around and said, well, we're still going to build the transmission lines to where you're not building.
So this is a story that Aidan Morrison, I brought him up a second ago, brought to my attention. So this was in the latest round of bids and offers, this sort of process that they go through. Yeah. I know he's not IPA. He's one of those think tanks though. Yeah, but a different one. And yeah, they changed the formula. So all these companies put together their bids and put together their proposals on the basis of a certain mathematical formula, which essentially meant that the taxpayer was going to pay for curtailment. Any curtailment that took place as a result of infrastructure not being able to carry the power was going to be paid for by the taxpayer. Then they changed the formula, and the new formula basically said that the taxpayer was not going to pay for curtailment due to constraints of the distribution network. And so then the government accepted a bunch of proposals, but they accepted it with this new formula. All the companies obviously saw what was happening. They're not idiots. They've got lawyers going through all this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. They saw it. And I checked in with Aidan literally only 2 weeks ago. I said, listen, when I had you on a couple of months ago, you said that not a single one of those projects had actually proceeded. Like none of them had been accepted. Like the government had said, yes, 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 but not a single one of those companies had actually said, well, we're going to proceed now. Has that changed? He said, no, it hasn't. Not a single one of those proposals is actually going ahead at this point. So they've got a massive problem, and the industry is recognizing they've got a massive problem where new projects are simply not starting. All the stuff that we're seeing come online, all the stuff that we're seeing in the news, those are the existing projects that got the old rules. Not a single large-scale wind or solar project has been started under the new rules. The whole thing's dead.
And yet Albo was on saying he was going to they were going to continue to build the transmission lines to these non-existent projects.
Well, so from his point of view, where he doesn't care about money, that makes sense, because if the commercial concern is constraints around distribution and who wears the cost of that, well, if he goes ahead and builds the distribution, well, that removes that concern. So this is literally his logic now is we're just going to keep building the distribution, and then the companies will get on board once they no longer have concerns about constraints around the distribution. That's his logic. Now that's tens of billions of dollars of our money being spent on excess building, the overbuilding of distribution beyond what is actually needed for the capacity of the grid, but it's what's needed for the comfort of the investors. But I think the clock is against him. I don't think he's going to be able to build that out before the next election, and the next election is going to become a referendum on net zero.
Not only that, I was watching Carl Stefanovic the other day. He was up in somewhere in Queensland at a cattle yard or something and one of the he had Matt Canavan and Angus Taylor and I believe Pauline, and he was saying one of the farmers there was saying that there's a battery plant and he was asking about what are these lines coming into it, and they're coming from the coal plant. So they're actually topping up the battery from the coal-fired power station so they can charge it out at the battery prices.
Well, again, that kind of depends on what's going on. So if that's happening during the middle of the day, then putting aside cost, just looking at a grid management point of view, middle of the day, windy day, your wind turbines are producing, your solar panels are producing, you've got excess energy. So what happens at the moment, this is not officially what happens, but it's what happens in practice, is they take the energy from the solar and the wind, the renewables, so they can get the renewable energy certificates because there's a financial incentive there. And then they essentially leave all the gas and the coal on the hook, so to speak. It's like, well, we're not buying your power right now because we've got excess power in the grid. And then if prices end up going negative, the renewable sources still make money because they're still getting the money from the new renewable energy certificates. That's the unfair advantage they have. So coal and gas lose money when prices go negative, but wind and solar don't because they have a second revenue source, right? And so in that scenario, it makes sense to give the coal-powered power plants another load, i.e. recharging batteries, because for them to scale down and reduce their power output so that they're not being penalized with negative prices is very inefficient for them. So again, if you're an engineer and you only care about the functioning of the system and not about any kind of costs, there is an argument where you could defend that. We're going to plug the coal-fired power plants directly into the batteries so that in the middle of the day when we have excess electricity, we're just going to feed the power from the coal plant directly into the batteries and charge them up. That, from an engineering standpoint, is defensible. It is such a ridiculous overbuild of infrastructure that the minute you start to factor in cost, it falls apart. But the government is not factoring in cost. They're just saying, we've set these targets. How are we going to accomplish them? Let's spend whatever we have to.
Yeah, that's what Matt Canavan was saying. You can't write this stuff. It's like you're putting coal power into a battery to
save the environment. Yeah, like what? Yeah, but that is, I mean, from a grid stability, if you accept the target, what is it, 82% renewable by 2030, I think is still the target that they're officially saying is the target, but the whole industry knows it's bubkus. Yeah. If you accept the target, which is that's how CSIRO and the Gen Cost reports got away with their lies for 15 years, was they built into the reports the assumption that they had to achieve that objective.
Yeah.
So they weren't reporting on what was actually cheapest. They were reporting on what was cheapest if we assume that we have to achieve that objective. And that's a very different thing. And if you just take a pure engineering point of view, these sort of nonsense can make sense. But the minute you factor in cost, it all falls apart. So, yeah, look, I think all of it's falling apart. I think Carl's doing great work. What he's doing, he's got money that I don't have. He can travel around and go and get on location for these sorts of people. Like I'm a little bit jealous. I wish that I had that kind of resource. I'd love to be able to do similar things, but I can't at the moment. But his voice is important. It's helping, and reality wins in the end.
Yeah, and I've actually enjoyed his cover with Kyle Sandilands.
I haven't seen that one.
He's done 2 with Kyle,
Has he? Yeah,
and apparently Kyle's jumped on board the One Nation train and helping him with like media stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't have a great opinion of Kyle, but apparently
I've never heard his stuff. Never listened to him.
I was on the Idol auditions when he was one of the judges, so had a bit to do with him back then. But but that was more in a media sort of thing, and he was a bit of an asshole. But
Yeah, well, that's kind of his brand.
yeah, but no, he's actually apparently very pro Pauline, and apparently he has been for a long time.
All right, let's bring it back to the cigar professor from being the electricity professor.
I am definitely done. I can't get any more out of that without burning my tongue and my lips.
Well, you've spiked it. Daniel has spiked it. Omar, how are you going?
I was done about a couple of minutes ago, so
I'm still going. I'm claiming
good.
the slow smoker award for today, even though
Yeah,
you've got slightly
sure.
more than me.
That was a fantastic cigar.
It's a beautiful cigar.
And I can say that the Big Brother version of it is just as good.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get a tin or two of these off you, Damo, before you sell out. I'd love to smoke one of these cold, just without having had something else before it.
Yep.
And pair it to a more suitable whiskey.
Anyway, reminding everybody just again, next pack will be the AJ Fernandez Lonsdale cigar in a Claro wrapper, the Cohiba Dominican Puro, and the Ernest Perez Carrillo Encore No. 2 Noir. The email will be going out probably in the next few days, so keep an eye on your emails for that.
Excellent.
But other than that, it will be the same time, same place next month.
That's it.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Topher and Daniel and Omar, for joining me tonight. And look forward to seeing you all again next month.
Looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to that pack.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. See ya.